What's happening, family? It is your man, CRB Jr. here at Motown Mafia Podcast, a Big Boss Filmworks production. And next to me is You Don't Know. If you don't know, you should know. And if you don't know, you probably should ask somebody. Brother Lew, what's happening, family?
It's Luda Great. It's Authorized Dealer. It's Flyers Plus Graphics. It's Sunrise Sunset. It's Motown Mafia. It's Big Boss Filmworks.
It's the hustle, ain't it?
It's the hustle. And
What
I'm
do
all about it.
And what do hustlers do?
Hustle all day.
Long time. So good. I hope everybody's good before we get started. If you guys are checking this out on YouTube, make sure you're hitting that like, share, and subscribe button. Channel is growing quickly, and we do appreciate and love you guys for that. Yeah, if you guys are into the pod business, like to check out content while you're driving, doing work around the house when you're in time, check us out on Anchor and Spotify. So yeah, man, everything good with you?
Everything's good, man. We had a hell of a storm yesterday.
Dude, they got the D. We was talking about Jim Jones and the weather report.
Right.
We're gonna do a Big Boss weather report.
Yeah.
Update.
Ooh.
Yeah, we had a storm came through here, and America's infrastructure all fucked up. Excuse me.
Yeah, big time.
Got our shop shut down. Got our studio shut down.
Studio shut down. Excuse the impromptu recording, folks.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We just had to keep it moving.
We got a little of Big Boss merchandising on. And if you like, check us out, shop.bigbossfilmworks.com if you want to get yourself a little something, your hoodies, your t-shirts, your caps, your socks, your phone cases, you name it, we got it.
And on that note, do not forget, because we got to get the family up to speed, because as the channel grows, and a lot of you guys actually know us from YouTube, and aren't even aware. There's a whole lot of information out here about my father, Courtney Jr. Marshall Brown, and of course his main man, Eddie the Fat Man Jackson, first guys to really kind of light up Detroit and get it lit, and the whole rest of the crew. Well, shout out to Uncle Butch, the great Charles Rudolph, and the rest of the Detroit trap gods who we talk about here. But if you want the information, Memoirs of a Kingpin's Kid, Motown Mafia, available on Amazon and Amazon Kindle. You can check out the book. Of course, this led to the award-winning documentary, which is available on Amazon Prime and Tubi TV that we did with our man Al Prophet, directed that and put it down, produced with yours truly, Lou Next Door, and shout out to DJ Taxi Richard Jennings out there, and also producer on that project was, you know him as Eddie Baby, we know him as Eddie Jackson Jr.
Eddie Jackson
now
Jr.
with his own station down in Florida, Real True Street Crimes. Also available at bigbossfilmworks.com is Getting Off Zero, Mind Right, Money Right. Shout out to Ray Tatum down there in Atlanta. It's a great book, got some history lessons, a lot of entrepreneurial lessons. It was our way of trying to give back to the community, and lastly but not leastly, there is Big Man on Campus. Let's get the copy. Big Man on Campus. Fictional story of me during my college days when I started working for my old man. We had to change some names and places because the timeline gets a little close to too close for comfort.
Yeah, big time.
But I think you guys will enjoy the read, and those who know the story will be able to connect the dots. And that's available on Amazon Kindle right now. And if you do want the paperback, that one you got to go directly to us here. Check us out at bigbossfilmworks.com, and you can get you a copy of Big Man on Campus. So all of that is good and going down. And again, we got the merch, and it's growing. The love that's been shown here in the D, and again nationwide, is just awesome. Shout out to a brother running for Congress. I believe his name. Let me try to make sure I get his name right. So bear with me 1 second here, family. It was a brother. I was in New York at Peter Luger's, and then we went over to Mashoud, and the brother reached out to us. I want to say his name is Conrad, and he's running for Congress out in New York. Brother Conrad, I believe he's running for state rep out of Brooklyn. And shout out to him, a really good brother. We chopped it up. He checked in on about Kwame and the rest of the team here in Detroit. And that was a home team of one of the family out in Brooklyn, Brother Conrad, running for office. We're going to give him a shout and follow back up with him. But again, so shout out to everybody, but all over town, wherever I travel, it'll be Atlanta, Miami, the Dominican Republic, wherever we go, people have shown Big Boss love, and we want to say thank you for it.
Yeah, big time. Thank you. Thank you
for that. So, what we do is we was talking, Lewis, we hustle.
Yes, indeed.
And, you hustle so that you can get some money, because money is a tool in today's world.
That's right.
And the more of it you have, like a toolbox, the more stuff you can get done with it. So with that said, and I check out a lot of other content and content creators. So the guy who was kind of mentioned at first was Fat Joe. So shout out to Fat Joe, and shout out to the pod I saw him on. He was on Expert Opinions. That's that brother Matt Hoffa.
Yeah.
And those guys, they're doing great. They do some
big up. Big up.
They do some great content over there. And he was telling the story about, Fat Joe come out the streets. He come out of the Bronx. Actually got some mutual friends. Eddie used to hustle with a lot of that crew out of Soundview in the Bronx.
Right.
Used to be up there at Branson, the famous weed joint up on 145th in St. Nick. Fat Joe would be around them parts, and he's a real guy. He's a real street guy. People who know his story, his backstory. In fact, he's got a doc, coming out. The Story of Joe, The Legend of Joe.
Really?
No, The Book of Joe.
It's called The Book of Joe.
They're doing a doc on him. He come out the mud for real. So it's always good when, to quote my man Hova, and all the hustlers love to see one of us make it.
That's right.
So for real, it don't never be no hate over here, because for those real ones,
yeah,
that really come out the struggle and come out the mud and can take it to some of the heights that some of these guys are taking it to, it does our heart good.
Definitely.
So anyway, Joe's a real one. Fat Joe was kicking it though about when you come out of the struggle, and you move into that next level of getting money, and you start dealing with that corporate money, and you start dealing with squares, the rules of the streets and how you moved when you was in the streets, you can't move like that because you'll scare away the money.
Yeah.
So he's saying that now this is like modern day, and he ain't no more Joe off. He ain't Joe Crack to a lot of people. He's
right.
Fat Joe.
Right,
a lot of people know him as Joe Crack. Right? Well, he don't really move as Joe Crack so much.
Right.
He Fat Joe.
Yeah.
Right? Fat
That's
Joe,
right.
the entertainer, worldwide celebrity, yada, yada,
That's right.
yada. But even though he had transitioned from Joe Crack to Fat Joe, he was still moving like he was Joe Crack.
Yeah.
Right? So he kicking it about the later he down in Miami. He spent a lot of time down in Miami. Occasionally, actually, we've seen him out and about. And shout out also to Nori, who be down there in Miami. So wherever we down there, sometimes we, people cross paths, or you see him at the same restaurants and shit. But anyway, so he's saying he's in Miami just chilling. He's just Fat Joe in his linen suits with his,
right,
looking like Liberace. And he's like, a guy comes up to him, says, "Can I tell you a funny story?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, about 8 years ago, I was working for a company called Red Stripe, the Jamaican beer company. And he was like, they had dispatched me to go to New York and find you because they wanted you to be the sponsor. He says, "I'm a square guy. I'm just a corporate guy." But he's like, and we were having a hard time getting a hold of you. Everybody within your world was giving us the runaround. The record labels weren't really cooperative.
Right.
And so, but they really wanted you to be the spokesman for Red Stripe. And he's like, they're like, so that you would know that we were serious, people from Red Stripe had given me a $2 million check to give to you. He says, so I find out where you're at, and I go to this club up in the Bronx. And he's like, and you got 100 guys around you. He's like, and I'm a square guy in a suit. He's like, but I get my courage up. And I try to walk and try to approach you. And he's like, and the first guy stops me like, yo, you can't be walking up on my man. Street shit.
Right.
Street shit. What was you? Square? Why you trying to walk up on my man like that? He like, I navigate around him. I get within about 20 feet of you. Another one of your guys stopped me and like, you can't come talk to the guy, man. Who is you? We don't know you. It don't work like that.
Right.
And he was like, I left. And I went back, told the people at Red Stripe, you can't even get to this guy. It's like some kind of gangster mafia thing going on. You can't even talk to the guy. And Joe was like, the way he was moving, he was scaring away the money. He hadn't evolved that there was now corporate money. Mm-hmm. So now, of course, he's pitching, you might see Joe selling diapers now because he's figured it out and he doesn't move like that anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying that's actually why he left New York and moved his operation down to Miami. He couldn't keep scaring away the money. And knowing all the street people he knew from New York and from back in the day. And I get it. We have to, of course, here, we at Big Boss, we deal in both worlds, right?
Yeah.
1 minute we're talking to people at Reels TV or AMC Stars and these are nice little white girls and they, just have filmed the cooking channel and now they're talking to us reformed hoodlums. And then you talking to hoodlums, and they don't understand. Hey, man, we can't talk like that around these people.
That's right.
We scare these people away. We start talking about these guns and shooting and all that street shit, man. We can't do that. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So that's what I completely. So that's kind of what we're talking about.
It's like going from one world to the next.
And you got to know when you switch those worlds.
Definitely.
And that the rules of this world don't work in that world. That when we all together from back in the day, we can talk about all that killing and blood and guts and pimping and yada yada.
And keys and G's.
Yeah, but when you dealing with these people, they like, well, we already know you're a gangster, but let's talk about how we can make money.
Right, exactly.
And if you start talking too much about that old shit, then you scare them away and they can't relate. So that was a very interesting insight that Fat Joe had there. And then on the same platform, I was just checking it out, and it made me really think about what's going on as these platforms grow on YouTube, on pod platforms, on TV. Again, you got the Book of Joe coming out. We had already talked about. You got all that Supreme stuff going, McGriff stuff coming down the pipeline. Obviously, this kind of the success that our man Al Prophet has had, covering us and covering other people from our world.
Yeah.
This thing is big, and there's opportunities out there, but if we who from that background and lifestyle don't understand how we should be moving, we will scare away the bag, and a lot of opportunities that would have been there will get lost.
Yeah.
So what made me think about the whole topic was I was watching again Math Officer, shout out to those guys over there, and they had DJ Drama on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about how integral he was in squashing the beef between Jeezy and Gucci Mane.
Okay.
And you remember we're messing with our Arab friends. A shout out to the old Goodfellas family.
Yeah, what up?
They was tied in. The guys who I hustled in the apparel business for a long time. They were tied into Jeezy's CTE group, right? So because DJ Drama's talking about, the people didn't understand how much that beef between Gucci Mane and Jeezy was affecting the whole city, because they both got big ecosystems. There's thousands of people who are eating off their plate in Atlanta. And of course I got a first-hand episode because old boy would send Jeezy CTE people to head and toe to pick up the money that I owed them. And my staff, and I'm living in my own world.
You know who that was?
Them niggas would come in with their iced out CTE chains,
Right.
And they'd be like, "We here to see Courtney. He here?" And they'd be like, "Yeah." And they'd be like, and those guys. Shout out to Charles. Shout out to Jameer. They'd be like, you know CTE, you know that's Jeezy people. And I'd be like, man, all I know is they picking up money for the Arab, the big Arabs that I owe this change to.
Right.
And, you know, that's all fine. But old boy would call me, he'd be like, I'm gonna send some of Jeezy's people by there to pick up that bread.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for a minute they were actually thinking about doing a clothing store down in Atlanta.
Oh,
Well, anyway, it did make me see how big Jeezy and that whole CTE movement was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
My same employees, they were the ones who had schooled me on, because this is when I had my shops in Atlanta, Gucci Man, and how it was like this guy was becoming a real thing in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, and we're talking about, this is like 07, 08, 09.
You couldn't turn the radio on without hearing the man.
Yeah, like 07, 08, 09, maybe 20, all the way to 2010. Gucci was really getting a large following down there. So when Drama's kind of explaining this, I was like, yeah, it threw me back to our days in Atlanta. And I could see, knowing how the hoods operate, and they were talking about how their beef was affecting kids, that somebody's daddy would be in charge of Gucci security, somebody's daddy would be in charge of CTE or Jeezy's security, and the kids can't even go to school now because everybody beefed out, and the DJs were getting beat up for playing. If CTE is in the club and you play Gucci, they might bum rush the DJ or vice versa, and then it just got crazy.
That's real.
Right?
Yeah.
So Drama goes on to explain, though, and of course, ain't no money really getting made, and they had a joint song, Icy, that they did together that, of course, caused for a lot of... And, you know, anyway, it was some real shit ended up going down between those two guys. And there was a life, like, lost.
Mm-hmm.
And Drama had played an integral role in bridging and actually reaching out, because he had made a lot of bread with Jeezy. He had made a lot of bread with Gucci Man. They both did respect him.
Mm-hmm.
And when him and some other people started reaching out saying, man, isn't it about time we put this beef aside? And of course, that's all what led to the Gucci Jeezy versus.
Okay.
Right? Which
Yeah.
was like viewed by I don't know how many millions of people. And Atlanta was just basically shut down that night, right?
Mm-hmm.
And since then, now more money can flow for everybody.
That's right. Yeah.
In fact, I think they did a tour together now, and they're both now making millions of dollars on tour by touring together, because, as Drama was saying, they both had matured to the point that they understood we're businessmen now.
Yeah.
And we got to make decisions based as businessmen, and they both got wife and kids, and we got to make decisions based on being fathers and husbands.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I salute those brothers, because that growth and that evolution, and I tie that all back to full circle. So, you know, sometimes we run into some struggles trying to link up people for our content, because they was YBI, they was Pony Down. That clique did that to this clique, you know. Thank goodness the way Pops handled his business, we were not a beefed out organization or crew.
No.
People, and God, all praises to Allah, we ain't got no problem with nobody. The people who owe us money, we don't owe nobody no money, and all the people who owe us money, we charged that to the game a long time ago.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When we was doing what we was doing, we ain't hurt nobody, because ain't nobody really try to hurt us. And the niggas who talked silly, we chalked it up to just silly nigga talk.
Pretty much.
And it wasn't no reason for nothing more to happen. And Lord knows we got some people in our family and friend circle that are, they are not like my father.
Yeah.
And they often would be in my father's ear like, we need to do this, that. Let me, you know what old boy said? You know what old boy over there doing? Berman, you need to let me go. And Pops gave out more passes than Tom Brady. And Pops would always quote Eddie, who, the fat man used to always say, if we kill every nigga who do something stupid, it ain't enough room in the graveyard. And again, though, but on a more positive note, the these guys, because that whole Gucci thing, you look at what ended up happening with Biggie and Pac, you know, legends and talents and billions of dollars lost besides their lives. So to
Yeah.
see those guys move on, and I tie that back to what's going on here in the content world with street guys. A lot of times there's so many opportunities for guys who come from that background, because there's so many guys who are famous, like, you know, like us here in Detroit, and in New York they got their cliques, in Philly they had their cliques, and in Atlanta, and everybody, right?
Everybody.
These guys, we can be doing
Major numbers.
major numbers if we actually collaborated and let everybody use their skill set, you know. And shout out to, you know, Uncle Butch, and again, we won't tell his business, the big homie KK. I know they working on some stuff too. Al did some great work with Doc Davis. You know.
Yeah. We did the piece in his loft.
We did a piece. Doc let us use this loft right downtown. That was some good kind of the collaboration kind of thing. And, you know, guy at Doc's level, of course, is all kind of things, and you know, guys are getting plenty of money. There'd be all kind of issues and this, that, and the others, and rumors. But at a certain point, I'm like, you know, he's a legend, and we gotta let some of that shit just be.
Yeah.
And we all come out of the same struggle, and it's time for us to be businessmen.
That's right.
Because at this point, our kids and cousins and family, our legacies will be defined by what we do. We America and the entertainment industry realizes unequivocally that this hip hop thing's foundation comes from our world.
That's right.
The youngsters, in fact, have meshed it so much they want to still be hustling as they rap it, as they become rap stars. Now, riddle me that. Whole different conversation. You know, they still shooting at each other and doing all
Right.
moving the bag after they leave the studio or before they get to. I'm
like living their lyrics.
They're living their lyrics. These kids are too real. We talk about real ones. These kids are too real about it.
They hot to death.
They ain't bullshitting, but they need to double check that too. And they need some leadership from our generation to be like, guys, you guys have escaped. You guys have escaped the jungle. You ain't got to live like that no more.
That's right.
You ain't got to live like that no more.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard. So yeah, that was a great interview, and salute out to calm, what they say in the scriptures, blessed be the peacemaker. So shout out to DJ Drama on that.
Big
I
ups on that
always have liked to
Always.
myself as a peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, very much my father's child in that way, when brothers would be beefed out. And again, like with that Jeezy Gucci situation, when the real life had been lost, you know, back in the day, people was dying.
Yeah.
People got killed. People killed people. So I get the shit was real. The shit is real.
Yeah.
And I get that some of these differences and beefs just can't be mended. You know,
Yeah.
I get that. But a lot of these street beefs, the expiration date has occurred.
A lot of these things are over, what,
30,
$2,500 debts, or
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like the principle of it.
Well, it's a lot of that, but I'm saying even among the in particular, our associates from that YBI era,
Right.
you know, there were two real different camps.
Okay.
Right. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're
Very
saying.
much similar to the kind of like that Jeezy.
Yeah.
Detroit in the 80s, in that neighborhood, very much. You had two different ecosystems and different associates.
Absolutely.
And cliques that a lot of people in town were eating off of. And the people involved had a lot of influence over a lot of people.
Definitely.
And the beef was real. The beef was real.
Beef was legit.
The beef was legit. A lot of that shit though is a long time ago, man. A long time ago. And it's people's families and kids who actually could be doing some positive things, taking negative situations that happened in the past and turning them into some positive things. But you got to be thinking that way. You know, again, shout out to Mr. Cooper, James Cooper, aka Pep. Compelling story. You know, we bought some T-shirts, and those T-shirts weren't great. Those were some great YBI shirts, in fact, that Pep's son had. They need to keep pumping those shirts out. You know, his story is compelling and serious. There's some real shit going down with him.
Yeah.
Some real shit going down with him. But there's a way to do this in a classy business way where your story can get told. The beefs that were back in the day, you know, they were what they were, and some shit went sideways with everybody a bunch of times.
Right.
But I'm saying there's some ways to collaborate, and again, like what his son's doing with those Pep and YBI T-shirts, that's a good thing. And it just needs to be taken to the next level. And if we keep talking about, and I'm not talking about Pep and this what I'm about to say, because what they're doing is great, and we all good there. But as a clique, as a hustler community or ex-hustler community, if we don't behave in a certain way, the T-shirt companies and manufacturers that might want to really get involved with something like that, and that go for Motown Mafia apparel, that don't just go for them.
Yeah.
I was talking to Five, Steve Goodwin, shout out to Five, a couple months ago, maybe this time last year. And another guy with just a compelling story, as real as they come. It's a story. There's money that's there to be made, but we got to network, you know, and be businessmen about this. And we got to leave some of that street shit in the past.
Yeah.
You know. And I just named just two, but there are many. Oh, shout out to who reached out to me? Brother Reagan, Reaganomics. He got something coming. Brother Reagan, shout out. We speak on not a regular basis, but you know, anything I can always do to help any of the family who trying to do a book or trying to do a doc or trying to do whatever it is they want to do to tell their experiences out here in the struggle. You know, I ain't, you know that. I ain't tell about that. Anybody can reach out to me. I mean, I'll be busy, you know. Once I get your number and I can get it and I can put you in as a respectable hustler, then I'll try to pick up the phone if I can. You know.
There you go.
I get a crazy amount of phone calls every day, but yeah, shout out to Reagan. He I know he's working on some things, and people need to know about Reaganomics. And so many. We got to follow back up, even though she got her movie done, Big 50. You know, but I think, again, her story's so deep that it needs to be fully unpacked. My knowledge of how the apparel business works and women plus size apparel, you know, and so I'm throwing this one out here to you, Sister 50.
All right.
For a freebie, you know, we need to be getting, you know, your plus size women's apparel line going, and that's the kind of shit I'm talking about.
Right,
now.
exactly.
You know, that's the
linkage,
kind of
man.
We gotta
solidarity
for real.
Yeah,
for real, and let who shot John, and y'all didn't give me the bag back in the day, and our bag was bigger than yours, and you know, and then your people in the project never paid my man, and we gotta let it go, fellas. We gotta let it go because the world is interested in hearing our stories. When in a lot of the stuff we don't even go into. Why? Because out of respect for this, that, and the third, we
try not to step on toes,
have
man.
to imagine how many compelling, fascinating stories we really know that we never speak about, right?
Definitely.
Because of the street politics of it all.
That's right.
And until certain people say, Junior, it's all right for you to talk about that, I don't talk about it. But a lot of money is being lost because I can't talk about it.
Because you can't.
And especially as we move into Big Boss, start doing some shorts, movies, and some full-length movies. Your homegirl, our homegirl Michelle wants us to do. I'll leak this because it's been leaked. You know, she's working on a script about Highland Park.
Okay.
the Edie family, the Staley family, all those guys. A lot of people at Highland Park brothers were dying, and I get that it's real. Shout out to Voodoo, Rodney and them. They was running around when we were over on Geneva with Eddie. Highland Park, during that 80s period, had overlap with YBI, overlap with Pony Down, overlap with Eddie, and trying to navigate telling that Highland Park story gets also political.
Oh yeah, it's sticky.
And shout out to one of the members of the Edie family actually reached out to me, and I think it was Fred. I don't wanna get it messed up. Anyway, I will do a retraction on that if I have misspoken. But I'm sorry, I got it right here. Shout out to Mo Edie, Highland Park legend, Edie family, real famous. Those who know. I know he got some good ideas too. And because things were real back in the day, just navigating around. So I just throw it out there, and again, shout out to Mo for reaching out, and hopefully we'll be able to link up with him. We had a brief conversation about some opportunities. And, again, I'm open, I'm down, bro. We can try to make it happen. And again, we got a homie that really wants to do this Highland Park story. And if you do a Highland Park story, you guys got to be a part of it. And I know you guys had all kind of real situations going on, but you guys are real ones. And we just need to figure out a way to put it together, man.
Definitely.
We just need to figure out a way to put it together in a respectful way, with respect to the game, and things that happen. So, but shit, if Gucci and Jeezy can settle their differences and get to the bag, we boys need to be able to settle our differences.
Get on that maturity level, man.
Get on that. Right.
I mean, it's a few different, namely, like I think back to the Hov and Nas thing. I mean, that could have went ugly. That could have went just as ugly as Pac and Big. And
they said some awful things about each other.
Yeah. I mean, that was
awful things, and now they both getting bread together.
And
they said some,
and both just. In them bees, man. In them bees.
And yeah. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, see.
So look at us, as God rest his whole brother, Cochise Bowen used to say. Look at us.
But speaking of reaching out, and I don't know, I might be editing this out, but somebody really special reached out to us.
No, I think we can talk about it.
We can talk about it. Yeah, big shout out to this fella, man.
Big shout out to Basil Miller III.
That's right.
He's the grandson of Basil Miller. You've heard us speak of him, of his grandfather as Mr. B. Just a phenomenal guy, one of, and all the people I met working for my dad. His grandfather
is in this book here.
Yeah.
As General Cash.
Yeah. My times down there in the islands, I grew up. I mean, that's where I went from an intern to a straight guy in the game.
Yep.
Was that Bahamas run thing. And he reached out to me. He's got some real estate down there that opportunities maybe that we'll look at. And it was just really cool. Touched my heart that our reach is all through the Caribbean. Again, his grandfather was just a unique guy.
Yeah.
And I've met all kind of hustlers. And Mr. B. Basil Miller was a unique IQ off the charts. Again, tied into everybody from Haiti to the Bohemian, highest levels of office, just to the mob here. And again, though, to see the family down there, they're legit now. And doing some things.
Absolutely.
And so he didn't reach out on some hood shit. He reached out on some businessman shit. And we're going to follow up on that. So, this thing, 40 years plus going strong, and the ripples still. And that's the kind of shit I'm talking about.
That's right.
Is the Plug's grandson reaching out to the other plug's son and saying,
Let's get some bread together.
Let's get some bread together.
Let's get some bread together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, that's a beautiful thing.
That is. In fact, I think we got a call lined up with him tomorrow.
Okay, that's what's up.
And when we get back down there, and never know, So I can see in 2023 us broadcasting live from the islands.
I can see that happening.
Like for real, because I would love the treasure trove. And at this point, enough time has passed to get down there and really let you guys, because Basil Miller was kind of highly educated, international. I mean, his reach went to London, to India, to Haiti, to Miami, to New York. I mean, Mr. B could just make it happen.
Yeah, the Black Sosa.
Yeah, he could just make it happen. And, again, this guy, Mr. B, he was with Carlos Leader at Cat Island in Norman's Cay. This ain't like he heard about it, he was close to. No, he was one of those guys who, when that whole Pablo Escobar, Bahamas, Carlos Leader thing, he's one of the charter members of that situation.
That's right.
Right. So when you look at Cocaine Cowboys 1, 2, or 3, you gotta know that this guy is, and because he was so smooth, his name stayed out of the press a lot. But those in that world,
if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. All the guys like my age, you guys, we got kids and grandkids that they wasn't tainted by that, but their fathers and grandfathers were major figures in this street shit. And now this street shit is mainstream and corporate, and it only is right. Because let me say this, and then we'll stop beating the horse. It's gonna be some, in all respect to my white family and Jewish brothers and sisters out there, and from the Arab community. Y'all know I do business with everybody. Green is the color we're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna be some white kids and Jewish kids and other people from other communities eating good off of this street shit. And if we don't organize our affairs,
Already are.
They are what I'm talking about. They already are. Yeah,
Stars.
Stars, BMF,
Viacom,
Hulu,
man.
Hip Hop Undercover. Nas coming to Showtime.
Right.
Gotti got a movie coming out. Will Smith, I don't know when Netflix gonna release his thing as Nicky Barnes.
Yeah, the Nicky Barnes story. Yeah.
Paramount, American Gangster, 400 million grossed and counting. For real, fellas?
For real.
For real? Because, see, we gonna do what we gonna do. Big Boss gonna get the job done. And I'm just saying, fellas. Holla at your man.
The olive leaf has been extended.
I ain't mad at nobody.
That's right.
My friends and family, regardless of popular chatter, my friends and family ain't mad at nobody. Okay? For real. My friends and family ain't got nothing but love for all the people that they hustled with.
That's right.
For real. So whatever perceptions or maybe some things were said that shouldn't have been said, but I'm here to say that whatever was said in the past, that shit, chalk it up, charges the game. It's nothing but love for all those that we hustled with out there. I'm speaking for myself. I'm speaking for my friends. And those who know, I don't got to go into it. And it's all good.
That's real.
We ain't got no problem with nobody.
That's real.
But so let's figure out how to get some bread.
Let's do this.
That's what we talking about. Again, let's not scare away the money. As Fat Joe said. Let's not scare away the money. So it's all good, man, right?
It's all good, man. It's all good.
It's all good. So what else we got coming up?
Wanted to extend a big shout out to Ken the Street Monster Bailey and Petty Pac. A couple of cats we need to get on the pod.
ASAP.
We need to get King Dave, the hip hop historian. That day is coming soon.
Yeah. We all that's coming down the pipe. So that's what I'm saying. There are people reaching out. We've been busy.
Mm-hmm.
We had to put some loved ones to rest, but we back to it and we back at it. And
Yeah.
we gonna go for ours
On some strength shit.
on for real, for real. So anybody out there, man, if it's about that, if y'all was about that life at a certain, level,
Yeah.
then and we've been at this. We don't we're just not patting ourselves on the back. We've been at this now 10 years plus.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Award-winning documentary, whole lot of books sold.
Yeah.
We know how this thing worked. We plugged in out in Cali, plugged in New York.
Yep.
Just holler at your man. We can make some stuff happen. Because we are definitely not so big that we can't use some help or partnerships. We're looking for partnerships.
That's right.
Because the bag's big enough to get split up.
Big time.
And for real, what we just saying, our community didn't help Vlad get there. And
That's right.
And he ain't throwing brothers a bone. Y'all help us get there. We gonna do right.
That's right.
We can all eat along the way.
I
Because
can't.
we gonna eat one way or the other.
I can't count how many times when the BMF show came out, how many people done came up to me saying, "Oh, y'all show is out. Y'all show is out."
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we so synonymous. This whole
'Cause it's
Detroit
our
thing. Once they hear Detroit, they think of us, and they probably think of you guys.
Well, and Meech, to its credit, we got that from Scott. The BMF organization was architected based upon the Eddie Jackson organization, the Doc Davis and Davis family organization, and the YBI organization.
That's right.
And Meech give credit to his predecessors, and that's why we give credit to them on how they did their thing.
That's right.
It wasn't a violence crazy crew. They was a money-getting crew.
That's right.
And when they had the throne, they lived real, real good.
That's right.
Matter of fact, too good. That makes Schoolyard George. Niggas getting all that money, we all gonna end up in the jailhouse. But and shout out to that. Shout out again, T. Glad he home. And Meech hopefully be home real soon. And it's just a good thing. It's a good thing, and they're leading the way on this thing. And salute to them for that.
That's right.
And salute to them for that. So we at Big Boss. We doing what we do, which I believe is depicting life.
In the struggle.
In the struggle, right?
That's right. And the struggle is relative.
And the struggle is relative, and we don't embrace the struggle, but we do talk about the struggle and know about the struggle. But it's time for all of us not to even be worrying about the struggle.
Say it louder.
It is time to get that corporate bag for our family.
Talk
All
to me.
then ran up that street bag, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a bigger bag out there, and I'm saying that. And I know I'm talking to people who have ran up a serious street bag. But there's a bigger bag out there than we even ran up in the streets, fam. So, that's your man. Olive branch out. Phone work. Never gets turned off.
And
Email never gets shut down.
that's right. Big Boss Filmworks at yahoo.com or bigbossfilmworks at gmail.com. And to all of you watching right now, if you got a comment, if you got some suggestions on some content, if you heard something new in the street, if you want to say something, drop it below. We see something we like, one of you's getting a book
or a t-shirt. We're gonna get
T-shirt
t-shirts to give out too. For some
yeah,
comments.
we'll be doing some give outs, and then you take a picture of yourself and we'll put it on the gram.
It's a brother who asked us to give him. Bear with me, 1 second.
That's right.
He asked us to give him a shout out, and I always forget, and I'm not gonna forget, because we're gonna find his comment and we're gonna get his brother his due, because it is due.
Mm-hmm.
Help me with this. What's that brother there? Dirty South Kennel? No, Dirty South.
Yeah, Dirty South Kennel. That's what it say.
I'm here to give a shout out to one of our loyal subscribers and follower, Dirty South. Looks like he can be reached at Dirty South Kennel. That's Dirty South Kennel. Tag Dirty South. Looks like he's doing some stuff in the music business. He wanted to shout out, and now you got to shout out. We at Big Boss appreciate you and your support. And if you got something popping, you need to go ahead and really holler at your man. You can hit us up on the comments section, Dirty South. So, go on, let's talk some business. Let's see if there's something there, man.
That sounds about right.
All right, so That's what we doing. It's real. It's really happening, fam. So, holla at you, man. We good, Lou?
We good, man.
All right, again, hit that. If you're on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, comment. If you're checking out if you're in the pod world, or if you've been riding and you want to listen to us on the pod, check us out at Anchor and Spotify.
That's right.
Also, Big Boss Instagram, Big Boss Facebook, and we on TikTok now.
We're on
right?
TikTok, correct.
And we're going to start putting a lot of this content up, some of the stuff we do, because some of our best conversations and content actually occur before we formally start shooting. So we're going to start showing you guys some of that. We got Patreon coming.
We got Making of the Mafia coming. And by next year, we should have
Motown Mafia Part 2.
Motown Mafia Part 2. I know y'all waiting for that one.
So it's going down. It's going down. Again, on that one, family, again, I mean, we have not yet, we're in the pre-production of Motown Mafia Part 2. We've got enough of the home team to do the project and do a great project, which is what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys, there's some of you guys in particular, because this Motown Mafia Part 2 is going to cover from when Eddie got out in '83 and my old man got out in '84. And we're going to run the story all the way through, rest in peace, to '95 when the big man passes, and kind of stop it right there in the middle of the height of the Pakistani plug with my old man. And the family out there know, all of you who was involved with that whole situation between '83, '84, all the way through '95. I really want you guys to participate in this project. For real, all jokes aside. We're going to put it down, and we're going to start shooting, if not before the holidays, right thereafter. It would make the project, it would make what's going to be a great project even greater. You know, Motown Mafia, it's on Tubi and Amazon Prime. You know, that's award-winning. We won so many and got invited. You know, winner of New York Independent Film Festival. You know, a selection at the Martha Vineyards Film Festival, Bronze Lens. It was critically acclaimed out the gate. Has become a urban legend as far as content about this life and about characters from this life. So when we do Part 2, I'd love for a lot of you guys, and some of you I ain't gonna even go through and call out your names again. I've been saying let's do something for a minute, so I'm just saying, fellas, let's do something. Let's do something.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right?
Yeah,
all right, it's your man, CRB Jr. Big Lew Stevens in the house.
Great.
On behalf of Big Boss Filmworks. Just got off the phone with Pops, so shout out from Pops. Excuse me, family. Shout out to Pops and from Pops. We doing what we do here, Motown Mafia Podcast, Big Boss Filmworks production. Y'all just need to holler at your man. Peace.
(1973). The Detroit Free Press's front page proclaims, "Dope kingpins get away with it." They had names like Jesse James, Pretty Ricky, the Black Greek, and Mr. Clean. 2 of the 12 men listed as Detroit's biggest heroin dealers were next-door neighbors, and in reality, they were the 2 largest heroin dealers in Detroit, dwarfing the other men on the list. Eddie the Fat Man Jackson, charismatic son of a pool hall owner, and his chief lieutenant, Courtney the Field Marshal Brown, a former city bus driver, had built an empire on a par with men like Nicky Barnes and Frank Lucas of New York. But theirs was a very different and in many ways more sophisticated operation than Barnes and Lucas's, based on family ties and finesse more than murder and mayhem. They truly were the Motown Mafia, and the saga of Eddie Jackson, Courtney Brown, and their families stretched from the 1960s and into the present day.